Today I'm going to talk to you about Homebrew, the missing package manager for macOS. Now, if you don't know what a package manager is, it's basically a way of getting software installed on your Mac and also keeping it up to date. Traditionally, there are two ways of installing software. The good old-fashioned way of hunting for software on the internet, downloading it, and then installing it, either by dragging it into your applications folder or going through an installer to install the package. And also, there's the Mac App Store. So with the Mac App Store, you can search for apps in one convenient place and have them installed. And you'll be sure that they're safe because they're vetted by Apple. Now, both of these methods are fine, but each of them has their disadvantages. If you download software from the internet, you have an extremely wide selection of software to download, but then it's up to you to keep it up to date. Each program having its own updater or not having an updater at all and relying on you for checking for new versions. To get started with Homebrew, you'll just need to install it on your Mac. I'm going to be showing you how to do that in a few seconds. You'll then type a command to install the software you want. Homebrew will search for the software you want to install in a repository, which in Homebrew terms is called a tap. Within the repository, there is a formula, which tells Homebrew where to download the source code for the app you want and how to compile it into a runnable application, called a binary. Alternatively, there could be a bottle instead of a formula. This is a precompiled binary that Homebrew just has to download and install. The files are downloaded to your Mac, where they are compiled if necessary. The app is installed in a keg, which is a self-contained folder containing the application. Kegs are stored in a cellar, where you'll find all Homebrew software you've installed. The cellar is kept in user local. The original Homebrew was meant for installing command line applications, which are typically also available for other platforms such as Linux. However, an extension to Homebrew called Casks allows Homebrew to install native macOS applications. Homebrew is a great way to install a wide variety of software on your Mac and automatically keep it up to date without having to hunt for updates yourself. So here I am on a fresh Mac desktop, and the first thing I'm going to do is go to brew.sh, which is the URL of the Homebrew project. You'll see a long command which you can just copy, and then what you need to do is actually open a terminal and paste that command in the terminal. So from Launchpad here, I'm launching terminal, and let's make this thing a bit bigger for you guys. There we go. And we'll paste it in here. After pressing enter, the installation will ask for our sudo password, which is our account password. And now Homebrew has installed. This will actually take some time. I'm just gonna speed it up here, of course. Okay, so now Homebrew has been installed. Alright, so let's install something now. So to do that, we'll type brew install and then the name of the program we want to install. In this case, I'm installing the Git version control system. As you can see, it's downloading, and it automatically installs dependencies, which are other programs this program needs in order to work. So that's all managed for us automatically by Homebrew. And there you go, Git has been installed. Now that would have installed in our cellar, so if I go to user local and I'll look at what's in the cellar, you'll see that there's a new folder called Git. That's actually the keg where this program was installed. And all of the files for this program are stored inside the keg itself. Okay, let's make this window a bit bigger so we can actually see the Git binary. And as you can see, there it is. Git is pointing to the version of Git that has been installed in the keg, which in turn is in the cellar. So all the programs will be in user local bin. Now, one of the nice things about Homebrew is that you can install macOS native apps as well. So for example, here in the Mac App Store, I'm looking up GIMP, a popular image editor. And as you can see from the results, GIMP isn't there. There's related software, but not GIMP itself. So what I can do is go to the Homebrew website. I'll just clear this here. And I'll search for GIMP on the Homebrew site. And as you can see, there are two versions, GIMP and Mac GIMP. I'm just going to install GIMP. By clicking on it, I'm given the command I need to use, and I'll just paste this in the terminal. As you can see, this time I'm using a cask, since this is a macOS app. So this will automatically download and install GIMP, which again may take a while, so I'm going to speed it up here. So here the installation has been completed. So I should now be able to find an icon for GIMP in my launcher. And we'll swipe right, and yep, there you go. As you can see, there's GIMP right there. And here we are. The GIMP is running and will automatically be kept up to date thanks to Homebrew. Now, speaking of updates, when you want to keep your Homebrew apps up to date, you simply need to type brew update. This will download updated formula from the tap. Now, the problem is, of course, we've just installed Homebrew here, so there's not much to see. So I'm going to open up Homebrew on my normal Mac. And when I type brew update here, a list of updated packages will be downloaded. Okay, so as you can see, it's showing me the updated formula and casks that there are. And now I can say brew outdated, and this will show me what programs I have installed that have updates. In this case, I'm using brew pin to make sure that PHP doesn't get updated, since I wanted to remain that version. I'll then say brew upgrade, and it will upgrade all of my packages except, of course, PHP, which I've pinned. And that's it. The updates are now complete. Back on the other Mac, I'm going to go to Cake Brew. So Cake Brew is a graphical interface for Homebrew, which saves you from having to type commands. Now, of course, you can install Cake Brew through Homebrew. So we'll just copy the command here, again, go to a terminal and paste. And from here, we'll install the GUI. All right, so now back in my launcher, there you go. That's a beautiful icon. And we'll open it. And basically, I have most of the commands I can do with Homebrew. I can install software, update software, and run some other utilities that form part of Homebrew itself. As you can see, it's showing me the updated packages, the list of all formulas. You can see there's a lot of them, updates, and other utilities. I can even run utilities to manage my packages. So for example, I'm going to search for a speed test program, right-click and click install. And I'll confirm. And this is basically the same as saying brew install speed test CLI. So that's installed. So I should now be able to use it from my terminal. So we'll do speed test CLI. And yeah, okay, that seems to be working. So as you can see, it's very, very easy to actually get the software installed. I can manage my updates from here, and from here I can run Brew Doctor. This checks your seller and other settings to make sure that everything is okay. From the command line, you just type Brew Doctor. Now, what would be nice is if Cake Brew would support casks, which would bring it more in line with an alternative app store for Mac. For a while, development on Cake Brew seems to have stalled, but a few weeks ago there were a few updates in the repository, which gives me hope that maybe more updates are coming. In the meantime, though, it's worth investing a little bit of time on learning the Homebrew commands. They're easy, and they'll make your package management much easier. I hope you've enjoyed this short video on Homebrew, and if you did, be sure to leave me a like and a subscribe. If you have any comments or suggestions for future topics, please do so in the comment section down below. Until the next video, thanks for watching. And you'll be sure that they're safe because they're vetted by Apple. Of course, the only apps available there are... But then, keeping that software up to date... If you download and install software manually, you have... Now, both methods have their disadvantages. If you download and install software manually, if you download software from the App Store, it's secure and it's automatically kept up with... But then the limited range of software can be annoying. To get started with Home, the files are downloaded to your computer where they are The files are downloaded to your computer. The files are downloaded to your Mac where they are compiled if necessary. Now, what would be nice is if cold brew, Cake Brew, Now, what would be nice is if Cake Brew would support casks, which would bring it more in line with an alternative app store for Mac.